So are you saying to me that I should, as a 32-year-old man that's cancer-free, God willing, thank God, touch wood, I should calorie restrict myself to keep my mitochondria healthy and my metabolism healthy now? I should be in a sort of a calorie restricted state.
I say it's good to visit the state. Our Paleolithic ancestors had no choice. There wasn't a donut shop on every corner. There wasn't pizzas. There weren't the kinds of highly processed carbohydrate foods available to them.
So should I be fasting? Should I be doing keto?
I don't want to tell you what you should or should not do. I'm not a physician here. I'm a scientist. I study what causes these things and I study how to manage them. You have to read what I'm saying and you have to come to your own decisions about how you want to conduct your life. I've given you information.
What's your view on fasting?
Fasting is a powerful way to get your body into nutritional ketosis, but it ain't easy. Try doing it. Try doing it. See how easy it is. It ain't easy, right? But that's why we developed this procedure where if you go, rather than going cold turkey and say, well, today I'm going to eat as much as I can, and then tomorrow, okay, you can go tomorrow. It's the second, third days when you start to really know what the hell's going on. And believe me, I've tried it. It ain't easy. That's why we developed a zero carb diet for 14 days, 10 to 14 days. Just zero. You eat meat, fish, chicken, whatever you want, but just don't eat any bread, pasta, this kind of thing.
On keto, how do we get into that sort of ketosis state that people often talk about?
Measure your glucose ketone index.
How do I do that?
With the Keto Mojo meter. You can buy it from Amazon.
Okay,
you can buy. Now, don't forget, they get a free Libra meter now for the blood. They're working on ketone blood meters, but it's not there yet. Right now, the Keto Mojo or some other keto meters, where you can prick your finger like a diabetic, you take a glucose strip and you put it on the blood and you put it into the machine. It tells you what your glucose is. Squeeze your finger a little bit more, take the ketone strip, touch it to the blood, put it in the meter. It gives you the ketone value. Push the button, GKI comes right up. Okay, very simple. Everybody can buy it from Amazon, get the meter, buy the consumables, and then they can test it. This is what all the cancer patients, the ones who really want to get into metabolic ketosis.
I think I've tried keto before, and I say think because I didn't measure my ketone levels, so I was assuming I did.
No, it's really, people say, well, I haven't eaten, I'm in ketosis. How do you know? Well, I blew into this thing and the bulb came out, I peed on a strip, it looked like it was ketosis. They are indirect measures. The most accurate is the blood measure. So
it's hard to stay in that state for most people, right? This is one of the things
because the temptations in our society are so strong.
Yeah.
I mean, Paleolithic man had no choice. Do you think that was his state? That's all he knew for thousands and thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of years. That's all he knew. He didn't say, let me go down to get a big jelly-filled donut down at the end of the river there. No, there's none of that. He had to live in that state. Now we have so many temptations, all the things that we are biologically geared for. When you see obesity, that's evolution in action. They are the descendants of our long ancestors that could hold on to energy so efficiently. We were an energy-starved species for the majority of our existence on the planet. So anything we ate would be very little waste. We never pee out glucose. Glucose is converted to fat, and we store energy as fat. So those guys are energy-efficient human beings. Now all of a sudden we find ourselves with everything. And that's evolution in action, man. You're allowing to see how we can store energy so efficiently because our ancestors lived through such environmental forcing. We had famines, we had long treks, our body could store energy so efficiently because we had to store what little we could get from the environment.
And now you've got 300 million Americans in this food environment where when they walk out their front door, they see the Dunkin' Donut. They can lie in bed and order a Dunkin' Donut to their front door in 10 minutes.
You don't even have to unask the car. They hand it through the window.
Yeah, so
no energy expenditure, energy in.
So giving them this information might be fairly futile because the temptation.
Oh yeah, well I'm not here to tell people. Again, I'm not here to tell people what they should or should not do. I'm just here to explain why do we have all this? Not mystery. It's all biological evolution. You understand biological evolution. Almost everything that I'm talking about makes perfect sense. And unfortunately, that's not part of our scientific literacy anymore.
So we need what? Discipline?
Discipline is important. Every major religion had a point of fasting. to be, whether you're Islamic, Judaism, or whatever, Catholicism, Hinduism, whatever. Whatever. They always had some sort of fasting. Why you do fasting? Because you want to purify your body. You want to become closer to God. You want to feel in control. And that's always part. And if you do it with prayer, it's even better. So there was a reason for doing all that. And people realized, the ancients knew this kind of thing. But we don't do that anymore. We don't go 40 days without food like Jesus did in the deserts. But a human being, you could absolutely do that. I know, because I can look at your weight, I can look at your size, and I can pretty much tell you how long you can go with before you died. And how do I know that? Because George Cahill, a good friend, late George Cahill, ran the Joslin Diabetes Center, and he evaluated people that would just go water-only fasting until death. And in some of those Maze prison camps and things. So he was able to know how long you could go. Now, what about Angus Barberi went 377 days without food. George Cahill would fast some of these obese people for 250, 300 days.
What happens inside their body with
They're burning fat. So what happens is you burn fat. Okay, liver stores a lot of bones store the minerals. You can get minerals from your bones. You can get a lot of fat storage. Vitamins are stored in fat. A lot of vitamin D.
Outside of the weight loss, what's going on in, we said religious people used to fast to get closer to God, which seems to me to point to some sort of cognitive change.
Yes, and that's from burning ketones.
Okay.
When you burn ketones, I said in the brain, when your brain starts shifting to ketones, your energy, the bang for the buck for each calorie that comes in from a ketone body increases the efficiency of oxidative phosphorylation.
So you're more focused?
Oh, massively. And this is why our ancestors were the way that if you are dependent on killing some animal for your survival, and you are out on the hunt, you are focused. Because if you're not focused, you're going to starve to death. So every sense organ in our body is super jacked when you're in these ketotic states. So, and these guys walking around with headphones, listening to, all this. This is like depriving ourselves of the natural ways of our ancestry. Don't forget, you and I are not just here over the last, 100, 300, 400 years. We are the descendants of members that are same as us, hundreds of thousands of years ago. They just didn't have the technology that we have today. But if you could bring a Paleolithic man from, say, 500,000 years ago, and you gave him a bunch of donuts and told him, he would die and went to heaven. You mean to tell me I don't have to go out and kill the elk anymore? They're going to hand me the food right through the window. Of course he's going to do that. You go in the cave and you throw a bunch of jelly-filled donuts into a bunch of cavemen who've been chewing on the half-eaten rat or something. You think they're not going to eat those jelly donuts? They have some chimpanzees live with a family down in Florida. There, I know there's some YouTube thing. The chimps, they're eating the food with the family, and then they give jelly sandwiches to the chimps. They're banging on the table. You think they were going to go crazy? Chimpanzees loving the jelly sandwiches.
Do you have kids?
Yes.
What advice would you give to your children if they're listening to this now about how to prevent their chance of getting sick through cancer or these other
Well, they'd probably say, well, Dad, how come you don't do a lot of the things? First of all, I told you, I don't tell anybody what to do or how they do it. I'm just telling you the science behind why things work. My children, my two sons, and they're all very, very successful. And they said if we ever got cancer, we would be doing the metabolic therapy if we were to ever get cancer. And I said, just keep, exercise and do what you can do, the best you can in our environment. Don't get me wrong. I'm eating a jelly donut. I'm drinking beer. I'm drinking whiskey.
Why?
Because I like it. But I'm not going to be doing it all the time. It's just I'm not going to be saying, I'm going to eat pizza, sure. But I'm not going to be not doing it. I do intermittent fasting. I don't eat for 18, 20 hours at a time. I do a lot of exercise over at the university, the gym and the facilities that we have. But I understand it. And then if I were to get cancer, I would have to bite the bullet and do what I know works, as much as it wouldn't be pleasurable. But it would be certainly a better alternative than being irradiated and poisoned. I'm telling you that.
If that has built your conviction to the point that you're so convinced that the real issue is this sort of metabolic dysfunction, Why aren't you optimizing your life to be sort of metabolically perfect?
Well, because I live in the same society you do.
Yeah.
Okay, and fortunately, yes, our technology has improved significantly. I'm not a monk. I'm not going to be in some monastery, chanting something. I am a member of the society just as you are, and I enjoy the things that we have to offer us to make our lives a little bit more pleasurable. There's nothing like sitting down over a nice meal and having a discussion with some wine and enjoying it. Enjoy the moment, but not to be locked into that kind of diet and lifestyle all the time. Puts you at risk.